lovers, it is gswiz here, and I am here today with 7 on Sunday. So you might be wondering, gswiz, there's a new setup. What on earth is going on? Long story short, due to the COVID situation, I moved back home. So I have all my books again, and I really miss it. I really do miss my books. I'm sad that I did have to move back home from the city, and I do also understand that a lot of people love my home setup more than they do love my city setup, and that's because I didn't have that much space in the apartments I was staying in. Couldn't afford to move around more books, all that stuff, etc. But I can be here and I can have a bit more space, which is cool. Yeah, I'm home. Anyway, I need to get back to this video. If you didn't know, 7 on Sunday is hosted by me. I usually put the prompts on Sundays on Goodreads monthly, so everybody can do them weekly. If you want to participate in this week's topic or maybe future topics ahead and want to be notified as to what topics we are doing, the Goodreads page will be linked down below, so you can join that, you can check that out. I'd be really happy to have you because, oh my goodness, like 7 on Sunday has been going so well so far, and I have to thank everybody who joined in on the first week. It was just amazing. I love seeing all of your responses. I love knowing what characters you went to quarantine with. Well, this week we have a similar topic where we're going to be talking about the authors that we would want to quarantine with. It's kind of similar to when authors go on a writing camp situation. You know, you're quarantined with them, you can write with them, or you can just chill with them and you can talk to them about the specific series that they've written, about specific novels that you have burning questions for. Like, that would be a good time if you were stuck with them for a while and getting to gain their knowledge, gain their wisdom, as well as ask them why a specific character died. I don't know. This topic is a perfect invitation for that. So now that I've explained this week's topic, without further ado, let's get started with the authors I've decided to pick as my quarantine buddies. So this one's pretty obvious, especially after last week when I was talking about how I wanted to quarantine with 2 of their characters. I would also like to quarantine with the author, Veronica Roth. Now, I have met Veronica back in 2018, and honestly, one of the best days of my life, man. I'm so happy that I got to tell her how much her books impacted me, for sure. But if I took this opportunity during quarantine to get to chat to her, I would like to ask her about her world building tips when it came to this series, but also when it came to Chosen Ones, because Chosen Ones is one of my favorite books ever, and oh my goodness, I'm so mad that I don't have a physical copy yet. I'm in need of it. It is one of the best books I've ever read in my entire life. Obviously, I will get her to sign all of my books. But just like I mentioned in the previous video, I really love having insightful conversations, and I wanted to have insightful conversations with her characters, but I would really love to have some insightful conversations with Veronica herself. I would love to be trapped in a house with Veronica for that purpose, also to kind of see her writing process, or for her to kind of talk through her writing process and her giving me tips, maybe mentoring me if I was to eventually write, because honestly, I'm still blown away by how she writes. And again, it's very personal to me, but at the same time, but also kind of like to do it for enjoyment as well. I would love to have those conversations. I would pretty much keep on gushing about Divergent, and she'd probably, you know, want me to stop because I'm probably a very obsessive fangirl. But I honestly don't know what I'm going to do with Veronica. I would just probably be so starstruck that I couldn't really even move, because I was almost entirely like that at her event. I was so starstruck by her. Like, she is my biggest hero. The next author that I would like to quarantine with would be Cassandra Clare. I would like Cassandra Clare there for similar reasons to why I want Veronica Roth, except obviously Veronica Roth's books are more dear to my heart. But I'd like to see her there kind of start on her next Shadowhunters novel. Like, that would just be really cool. I am in the middle of Chain of Gold right now, and I'm obsessed with Chain of Gold. This book is so good. It's actually prompted me to repurchase all of Cassandra Clare's books in hardback. Yes, of course, I feel the judgment right now. It's fine and it's justifiable as to why I'm receiving all this judgment, because yes, I do have her books, but like, you can only really have them once in hardback in your entire life. Or at least before they're out of print. So I decided I'm going for it. This is so random, but I kind of like how this book sits. I mean, the cool thing about Cassandra Clare is that she does talk about her characters a lot. And she is an author who is blessed to the point where she can keep writing about the characters she's written about for years and keep going on with her story and still make bank. But not only that, she progressively keeps on getting better with her story. That is just so mind-blowing to me. It's been such a long time since I've read a dull Cassandra Clare book. In fact, I think my least favorite Cassandra Clare book is still City of Bones. And that was the first one. Another thing that I do want to talk to her about is her writing progression, and ask her tips on how she started to progress in her writing as years went on. So yes, of course, I would really love author to reader conversations with Cassandra Clare. Just thinking about it right now, it kind of gives me chills. I've progressively fallen in love with her works, and it's crazy because I think she was one of the authors I became the most patient with when it came to reading her books, because the Mortal Instruments series wasn't something that I was crazy about, and now when I really think about it, I really love the Mortal Instruments series because it's started an amazing universe. The characters still impact me to this day. I also want to ask her how she does that with her characters. Another author who has built an amazing bookish multiverse that I would love to quarantine with. Having Uncle Rick is ultimate quarantine goals. He would just make you laugh at every chance that he gets, but also he gets to keep talking about mythology in a really funny way. In fact, you know what I would do? I would ask him to tuck everybody in our quarantine house in and him retell Greek myths in order to get us to sleep. I know, guys, we're not children, we're all authors and I'm a reader, but who's gonna say no to that? Who? Lame people are gonna say no to that, I get it. But lame people don't understand that he's our uncle. Anyway, Uncle Rick in quarantine would be amazing because once again, so many questions to be asked to him, but he's gonna be there and tell funny stories. I don't care if he talks about his own life, I just want Papa Rick to be there. Being around the dude is just gonna be a fun time. I've come to that conclusion already. Another author who I think is gonna be a very fun time to be around would be Victoria Schwab. So like most of you guys who subscribe to my channel, please do if you haven't yet. I follow Victoria on Twitter. She's amazing. I just love getting to read her tweets, whether they're funny, or whether they're encouraging, or whether she's just talking about her story as to how she just sometimes feels like quitting. She feels like giving up, but she just keeps going with her writing. And I'm happy that she does keep going because she's one of the most encouraging writers out there. She's inspired me so much. I've actually met her. She was one of the authors I was the most comfortable with when I was in the signing line. And for me, that says a lot because sometimes I do get intimidated by my heroes because I'm looking at them and I'm just like, oh my goodness, like you're here and I don't know what to say, I don't know what to do, but I just felt so comfortable in front of Victoria. She makes you feel comfortable and she makes everybody feel comfortable because she actually understands what it's like not to feel good enough or not to feel like you're worthy enough. She talks about that a lot on her Twitter and I love that she's so down to earth about that. Some little loner reader like me is able to resonate with that, you know? So that's how I feel about Victoria Schwab. I would just want to be in the house with her because I would be able to relate to her, but also I'd be able to talk to her about what she's writing at the moment. Like her projects are just so fascinating to me. I understand that I'm not a big fan of one of the series that she's written, which was the Monsters of Verity duology. I personally am not a big fan of that series, to be honest, but I love her adult works so much and I love City of Ghosts, so I would love to talk to her about that stuff. I want to try more of her YA books out eventually. Obviously, I do want to try the Near Witch out and eventually the Archived, even though that series hasn't been continued. We'll see. Of course, I've talked about some authors that I want there, you know, to answer my burning questions, but also to have some deep conversations. And yes, I do want this next author for that. Also, I want the next author around because I just want to be her friend. Guys, I really just want to be Sarah J. Maas's friend, okay? So, in some cases, Sarah J. Maas books are a hit, and sometimes they're a miss, and that's fine. This being said, it is very rare that you find an author without flaws in their writing or within their books, you know? Obviously, I have found this with Sarah J. Maas, but I've also found that with Cassandra Clare. Funnily enough, I've also found that with Veronica Roth, but someone who does get a lot of flack for it is definitely Sarah J. Maas, and I think I've only really experienced it with Sarah J. Maas recently, but not just because I didn't even like Archifast, but it was also because I was going for Anhedonia when I was finishing the Throne of Glass series. Yeah, for some reason, I had thought that I was starting to outgrow Sarah J. Maas's works, but in reality, I was just going through something that I didn't know had a lot of power over what I used to enjoy, you know? And that was kind of sad. And then in the midst of my recovery, House of Earth and Blood came out. I'm really excited for the rest of Crescent City because this book was really good. Like, I'm still so obsessed with this book. And I definitely have to say with absolute confidence, this is one of my favorite books of the year. It's so good. Oh my goodness, I'm so obsessed with the Crescent City series. I know that only 2 books in the series are confirmed, but it needs to go further.
Okay, so I just did a Google and actually 3 books are confirmed in the series, which is making me over the moon because I couldn't stand the series being just a duology, my goodness, but still, I would like it to be expansive.
But also, I simply want Sarah J. Maas to join me in quarantine because of the banter. It would just be a really fun time getting to fangirl about different characters and getting to talk about dogs. Oh my god, dogs. Sarah J. Maas is the perfect person to do that with. I would really look forward to that. Man, I'm starting to get a little bit sad during this video because I realized that you can't always get what you want. I mean, obviously with the character quarantine situation, you definitely can't get that. This might be a little bit more possible, but still, I'm sad. This is probably never gonna happen. And the final 2 offers that I would like to quarantine with go hand in hand because they're related, and them both in the same house during quarantine would just be amazing. John Green and Hank Green. You know what? I'm so happy that Hank Green is an author now because like I couldn't include him in this list if he didn't write an absolutely remarkable thing, which was in fact an absolutely remarkable thing. I absolutely love and adore both Hank and John Green, but also I adore their books, and so I would not just want to chill with them during quarantine because they've written good books, but they're just company you to be around. I would wouldn't even just have to talk to these authors about books. I can talk to them about YouTube because they do YouTube. They also started VidCon, so I can also talk to them about the process in doing that. I could kind of talk to them about BookTube and get them to convert to the dark side. They kind of do bookish videos sometimes, like, you know, they talk about books that they recommend or books that you've never heard of. When I think about it, Hank and John Green kind of introduced me to BookTube, or at least I found BookTube through some of their videos. They really did help me out in that department, and they also helped me fall in love with books. And I actually followed John and Hank Green as YouTubers before I even started reading books. Or in fact, before I started reading John's books, which were huge apparently. I had no idea that he was an author, and I never watched his author videos. And it literally took my youth girls telling me the YouTuber's a book writer for me to realize, oh, dang, he's a writer. But seriously, I love watching their videos, but also I love it when Hank Green hosts VidCon in Australia every year. It's probably not gonna happen this year, and I'm probably gonna be very devastated, but that's okay. I'm just gonna have to live with it. So those are the 7 authors that I went to quarantine with. Comment down below if any of these authors were on your list, or if I could have done better. I'm joking, don't tell me if I would have done better. I did the best I could, okay? I'll probably go on the guilt trip when I watch all of your guys' videos. Also, if you want to join 7 on Sunday next week or the future weeks, once again, this is a reminder to join the Goodreads page, or maybe even just follow me on Twitter so that you can see the topics. I should have the tweet of the most recent topics on there somewhere, so hopefully that's there. But if you don't see it, Goodreads page is the best way to go. If you want to purchase any of these books that I mentioned in this video today, all the Book Depository purchase links will be down in the description, so you can check them out, you can purchase them, and you can help me out by doing so. When you think about it, you're also giving yourself a gift, because these books are really good. I also have social medias. I'm at itsgswizzelbooks on Twitter and Instagram, and I'm also at Goodreads. That's www.goodreads.com/gswizzle. I love you, book lovers, and I will see you later. Peace.
Started out with half and I flipped it into double. Started out with half and I flipped it into double.